Right, this is 4.3 aspect ratio. It's for the old style TVs. 4:3 is aspect ratio. That's the way it was filmed, and that's the way it's been presented on its VHS release. This being a multi-regional copy of said VHS. I searched high and low. I searched everywhere online that is possible for this movie. I could only find it in its original form, VHS, on VHS cassette. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't hugely expensive. Even I found one sealed copy. It wasn't hugely expensive, but to be honest with you, I would sooner have had it on disc. So I can tell. It didn't say in its listing that it was a VHS rip. Brand new. It was sealed, as you saw when I opened it. It didn't say in its listing that it was a VHS rip. Look at that, Liam Neeson there. See, Liam Neeson. He's in the news at the moment. See there, he commentates on it. See Liam Neeson. And George Harrison only has the outro music on it. He may have produced incidental music throughout the movie, but noticeably he has the outro tune of the out credits, and it's a complete tune, it's a complete track as well. It's Here Comes the Sun. Liam Neeson, that's just caught my eye there. It looked by the age, released by the age. That's what the Dutch do on there. That's how the Dutch have. That's the style. That's the way the Dutch have their age. Their age restriction symbols. They have it like that. Yeah. RCVNL Netherlands. Yeah, see there. RCVNL Netherlands. I was correct in my assumption. The logo. You get used to when you buy your discs, don't you? You get used to the type styles on them, don't you? This has come from the Netherlands to my address, to my house. Yeah, it has the optional Dutch track. 4:3 full frame. It has the optional. It has Dutch and English audio track. It's region 2, it says region 2, so yeah, that falls in with being Netherlands. The Dutch, they Dutch share their region code with us. I thought it was all region disc. Never mind, region 2. So anyway, I thought it's best that you have accurate information. It's a region 2 disc. This. I found this on all the online sites, all of them. I chose the disc. It's only on getting it home, it's only on opening it that I've realised it must be VHS rip. Even the paper there, I've discussed this before in a previous video, how you can tell when you receive an item which is a rip or not. You can tell by the goods when you open them. The paper, you can tell by the feel of the paper even before you even look at it. You can tell thickness of the paper issue you get in the Amarais is different, even by the touch. I can tell by looking at the colour as well. It's off. The reason why DVDs and Blu-rays are so expensive, because they are quality items. Because one can tell immediately when I get a rip straight away by the way it's cut, even the edges. Quality of the colour, it's not so good, and also the print on the disc as well, it's off. I worked in a printing company when I was younger in my earlier years. I worked in a printing press company. We did logos on helmets and all kinds of things like that. We did novelty children's pictures on souvenirs and plastics on plastic souvenirs, and put logos on hats and all kinds of things. So we dealt with printing on plastics and things like that. So I can tell straight away by the look of them, by the look of things, if it's a rip or not. Yeah. Right, I've played it and it's fine. It's completely fine. The navigate the menu at the beginning is completely navigationable. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. You can choose the options fine. It's a really good rip. It's presented in its original format. Fine. It's great. It's what you expect. It has a Dolby surround track and also an English stereo track. So I've not tested the Dolby surround track as to how many channels that entails. But, when you're buying this, you're not buying it for its audio track. You're simply buying it because you don't want to choose the VHS option. It's an original IMAX film. You would assume that they would all have Blu-ray releases, wouldn't you? But this one, no. Not even a discrete DVD release. The IMAX film team was comprised of squadron leaders who would take paying guests up and down the mountain to be able to afford to pay for this actual IMAX film. It wasn't just a bunch of people with a camera who would just need a few hours to get the footage. It was a major team play. And on watching this, you will find out that very thing. You will find out such. You will find that very thing out for yourselves. A really entertaining watch. My interest in this movie was sparked off by this movie, Everest. The footage used in this in this IMAX film was actually recorded the same year as the disaster occurred. So in other words, all these three here forms of media have a severe tie-in with each other. At least 5 internet sites were posting dispatches from correspondents at Everest Base Camp. The South African team maintained a website, as did Malduff's International Commercial Expedition. Nova, the PBS television show, produced an elaborate and very informative website featuring daily updates from Liesley Clark and the eminent Everest historian Audley Sauckland, who were members of the McGillivray Freeman IMAX expedition, brackets, headed by the award-winning filmmaker and expert climber David Brashears, who guided Dick Bass up Everest in '85. The IMAX team was shooting a $5.5 million giant screen movie about climbing the mountain, close brackets. On watching this, you will learn the individual members of the IMAX team. In the book, they're just mentioned, they're just outlined in the book. $5.5 million, I never realised it was that. It had that much of a large budget, $5.5 million. Crikey, it's not that long with Sony. It's not that long. In fact, it's the money which costs. It costs so much to climb Everest. It's the money which is the main obstacle in climbing Everest. It's having the money to do it. You learn that from reading the book. And next would be a team from Montenegro. Then on May 8th and 9th it would be the turn of the IMAX expedition. Well, they did attempt it, and it depicts in the movie where they did attempt it on that date. May 8th or 9th. But what the book doesn't reveal is that it was a failed attempt by the IMAX crew. They tried it, as I say, they tried to go on that date, but the weather on the mountain was that bad that they had to call it off and wait it out back down in camp where they were. They had to return to Camp 4. They had to return, call it off, and they were all, in the movie it depicts where they're all like that, heads in their knees, all downtrodden, all depressed for ages. There's a good section in the middle of this IMAX film where they're all sat there back where they've all had to return to camp, all depressed, thinking maybe this might not be their year. It shows where their first attempt is called off, and it's so doubtful whether or not they'll be able to make it after all the trouble they've had to go through. These three pieces of media have a nice tie-in with one another. Between the three of them, bits which are only partly mentioned in the individual forms of media are greatly expanded upon in another form of the media. So it's great. It's like an eternal staircase, up, down staircase between the three. And the team who are just only briefly touched on in this book, who are involved in the Everest mission, are expanded upon tremendously as this film is as a whole.